This video is sponsored by Manscaped.
I tried to do my hair real nice for today and it absolutely fell on its face. But today I just wanted to have a little bit more of like a personal video, considering like I haven't streamed in quite a while, so I feel like I haven't had a chance to sit down and answer people's questions. So I asked you guys on Instagram as well as my community tab what you had for me, and here are my favorites. I also answered a couple extras on my Instagram stories. First up is RSD, who wants to know what the best gift with purchase / promo LEGO has released this year. Now I can be very biased, I guess, in this, but for me personally, I think the best promos that LEGO have done this year, firstly, is the Grand Staircase from LEGO Harry Potter. That was such a solid promotion that I think it would have been better as an actual LEGO set. Like, it felt more like a set rather than a promotion, and I absolutely loved it. I ended up getting 2. The sticker sheet was fantastic. It was just overall amazing, as well as the Lars Family Kitchen Homestead. I mean, at first, I wasn't too fond of it, but I feel like it's really grown on me in terms of like promotion, especially for May the 4th. And then lastly, I think that like cosmic, I can't even remember the actual name of the promotion because I didn't end up getting it, but it was that ideas one with like the cardboard box. My friend Josh from Josh Builds Stuff did a video on this, which was absolutely hilarious, and I really wish that I had stuff to buy at that period because that promo was so cool, though I just really don't feel like going back and buying it. Oh, and the like Lego house promotion. I did actually end up buying this because I've always wanted to have that like Lego house architecture set, and I was like, oh, what if I like part it out and just use like the tile to like finish it off or whatever, and even just having the mini one was pretty cool. Really, it's just like I bought that though for the wooden duck and the architecture house. Like the rest of it was kind of a little bit boring, but I loved the whole concept as a whole. Like I thought that was really solid. I think in terms of like gift with purchase quality, 2022 was like a really solid year, but in terms of thresholds for that, it was like pretty appalling. Also, excuse the birds squawking outside. This is Australia for you. Speaking of Australia, thoughts on the new Australia postcard set? I hate it. I mean, I saw like a blurry leak of it and I was like, well, this is really disappointing. And I hate it for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, the postcards are all done in like cities. Like we have London and Beijing and New York and Paris, and then we have Australia as a country and a continent, and I'm like, it just feels like very out of place to me. But also I feel like it just like really leans into like that stereotype that people think of when they think of Australia. It's like, oh yeah, do you ride a kangaroo to school? It's like, unless I guess like you know someone in Australia or you've ever been, like that's probably what you think it is. And it's like the postcard's technically accurate when it comes to like an accuracy point of view, but I feel like it's not really reflective of like majority of Australia. I mean, technically majority of the country is the outback and the bush and things like that, but like there aren't a lot of tin sheds everywhere. There aren't a lot of outdoor dunnies, which is basically like that like outhouse thing. There's also, I mean, cockatoos and trees. Yeah, like I remember when I was at like high school, like our bins had to have locks on them because the cockatoos would get in and like pull the rubbish out. But then there's also like a Qantas plane in the sky. I mean, look, I'm a Sydney sider, so I am again biased in this. Like I would have much preferred to have Sydney Harbour, like have the Harbour Bridge, have the Opera House. Like I really want to get that architecture set one day because I've got London. Like I'd love to have Sydney to have like both of like my countries of like citizenship or whatever. Like that's a very personal thing to me. And like they've done the Opera House before as well with like the creator set and again an architecture set. But I just feel like a really nice small Sydney postcard, like make it a city, tie it into the range, like make it a little less stereotypical and probably a lot more recognizable, like would have gone down a lot better. But yeah, I hate the set. I was planning on getting it, but not anymore. Hendrik wants to know if I've ever been to Germany. Fun fact, I actually used to live in Germany for 2 years. So in like 2004, my family all moved over for Germany for my dad's work, and I went to an international school in Wiesbaden, and it was awesome. Like I loved it there. It was really cool. I got to meet tons of people from like all around the world because there was just like a ton of like expats kids all living around, and at the time as well, like the World Cup was going on. So like it was a really fun time. We had like annual passes as well to Disneyland Paris because we would just like hop in the car and drive off there for a weekend and then drive up to the UK to visit my grandparents and everything. It was really nice. Like I got to see a lot of Europe as I lived there, and luckily as well, like I do remember a lot of it even though I was like 6 or 7 at the time. There's so many like family photos and so many family videos. I really loved it. I'd love to go back again. Like I haven't been to Germany since we moved away, so like I'd love to go back and like experience more because I don't think I ever got to actually go to Berlin or anything because we were more near Frankfurt. But I have been to Germany, really loved it. Went to the Playmobil theme park as well, so that was fun. Ryder asked, would I ever want a minifigure of yourself? I would, in fact, so much so that I ended up like making my own. I've got like a couple actually, and they're like all with me. Firstly, I mean, I just like drew like my sig fig. I made myself a little Holly Christmas sweater because I'm self-centered like that, and I absolutely love it. You can actually buy this piece on my merch store, HollyOnFilm.com. It's probably not going to arrive before Christmas now. But anyway, that exists, and like I just threw like the Luna Lovegood CMF head on it and this like hair piece, but then Jurassic World did this hair piece in like an actual color, which I swapped it out on like my little like self-centered shelf, as I like to call it, so she looks accurate. I ordered a ton more of them as well to swap it out, but then I also got like my sig fig made into like a proper minifigure, which are going to be available for sale soon on my merch store. I got these done several years ago, so I feel like even then like my sig fig has like been updated since then, but like it's still very classic, I feel like, and this was all like a big collab with a ton of other like YouTubers sig figs, so I'm really wanting to get them released and out to you guys. But yeah, I made my own, and it's really, really cool because I just love having like a version of me. I think that's like, again, why like sig figs are such a big thing in just like general, but yeah, it's really, really cool to like have myself, and I guess like even just like my friends in minifigure form. Chris was wondering if there are any plans for more videos like the Hulkbuster. Was hilarious. Firstly, thank you guys so much for the reception on that video. I had an absolute blast editing it. I say editing it because filming it just infuriated me so much. Like I just got so passionate in that video, but overall it was a lot of fun to plan out, a lot of fun to put together, and I am really, really proud of it. I mean, admittedly, like videos like that are very dependent on whether or not LEGO continues to release bad sets. I mean, at least in the Hulkbuster's case, I was very fortunate. I could just borrow it off someone, didn't really have to build it, didn't have to buy it, so like that was a really big thing. But I mean, I guess if there's like other big sets that I'm like sort of like, ew, this is kind of ugly, like I probably will go and buy it to do another video like that, and then just like sell it or part it out or drop it off in like a bulk lot thing, depending on the price of it. I'm kind of tempted to get the foosball table for that reason, but at the same time, like it hasn't gone on sale in Australia yet, so I'm sort of like waiting for that to happen before I sort of pounce on that. But I guess we'll see what happens in the future. I'd love to do like a follow-up and really just like change my review style to sort of do more stuff like that, and like the Tiger video and the James Bond car, like videos like that I really want to do more of in 2022. So I hope there will be some like that, but maybe not quite to the same level of sarcasm as the Hulkbuster one. Oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce this username, so I'm just gonna say Jen wants to know if I'm excited about the upcoming Rivendell Lord of the Rings set. Honestly, I'm worried that that's gonna be like a Hulkbuster level thing, because while I'm really excited for it, like I love Lord of the Rings, and like I got so into it, I rewatched it all. I want to get all of the Fellowship minifigures before that set comes out, just in case. But like the brickheads to me, they're cool, but like I just don't care about brickheads, so like this D2C set is really what I am waiting for. But the problem is, it's gonna be $500 US, which means it's gonna cost me like $900, and that is a lot of money to spend on something like that. And it's also probably going to be really, really massive, and I just don't think I have the space to build something like that or store it. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I'm debating buying it. Like I've sort of got it in the back of my mind from like a budgeting and like purchasing point of view, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, like is it actually gonna be good for that price point, or am I gonna be severely disappointed? Like I would have much preferred a cheaper sort of D2C set just to kick us off, because like if Lord of the Rings is going to be successful and ever come back, we've got to lower the threshold a bit so it's easier for people to get in. But I'm excited. We'll see what it looks like. Like I just don't want to set my expectations too high and be let down, basically. Leonardo wants to know what are my favorite... Hold on. I thought I told people not to interrupt while I'm filming. It's the holiday season, and while it's a time where lounging around in your pajamas is more socially acceptable than usual, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep yourself in top shape. And that's why Manscaped's Ultra Premium Collection, as well as their Ultra Smooth Package Kit, are perfect gifts this Christmas for either yourself or your loved ones, in order to keep everyone feeling fresh and clean and smelling good despite the amount of stench there is from turkey and alcohol. If you have one of those uncles that just like absolutely reeks at the Christmas dinner table, may I suggest getting them the body wash. This stuff smells amazing. I love it. It lathers really neatly. And for your other uncle that doesn't like to wash their hair because they're too lazy, there is a 2-in-1 conditioner and shampoo. It's going to save them so so much time and they're gonna have absolutely no excuses to reek. Both of which too are super easy to apply because they both got pumps at the top. I mean, what more could you want? The deodorant, lip balm, and hydrating body spray as well are excellent stocking stuffers, super small, super easy, and again, are gonna be saving your nostrils on Christmas Day. All three of these are gonna keep you smelling good and feeling hydrated as well, especially considering how dry your skin can get at this time of year. I'm telling you, moisturize now and save yourself in the future. You're gonna have less wrinkles and your skin is just gonna overall feel super soft. It's great. You can get 20% off and free shipping at manscape.com using the code HollyOnFilm, which will be linked down in the description below, so you can give the gift of good hygiene this Christmas and really get people kickstarted into a self-care routine. Whether it's for your partner, your brother, your dad, uncle, a friend, help them take care of themselves this Christmas and give them a gift that they will actually use. Thank you so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Now I got a couple more houses to hit and they're all probably gonna think I'm a Christmas caroler, so I'll see you later. Oh gosh, I wish people would stop knocking on my door. Like, firstly it's my family, now it's myself. Like, come on. So going back to Leonardo's question, he wants to know what my favorite top 5 albums of the year are. So let's consult my Spotify Wrapped for this. Now, basically, I am a very basic pop girly person when it comes to music. And I feel like in terms of this year, like I haven't really listened to too many new albums besides Taylor Swift's Midnights, which I do really like, but it's also not one of my favorite albums. Like when it comes to albums, the only one that I can like, I guess, really pinpoint, I feel like over the last couple of years that has been a major standout for me is Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia. Now, while this didn't come out this year, I listened to this album so much this year, mainly because I was excited to go to her concert, which was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. But also, it's just like such a fun, like dance disco album. Like I absolutely love it. But like, here's my summary of my Spotify Wrapped, if anyone was wondering. I'm very, very basic. Britney Spears has literally been on there for like the past 5 years at this point, and she has not released new music in that time at all. Ark has the classic How Are You Doing? So I feel like overall I've been doing really good. I've just been stressing myself out recently, just trying to like, I guess, like balance everything, trying to get into a schedule and a routine. Like I feel like my life this year has really just like thrown off the rails, and like every time I sort of get settled, it gets like thrown off the rails again and I've got to like readjust, which I think has like been messing with my head a little bit because I actually had like a full-blown like anxiety attack the other week, which was like terrifying. And at the time I didn't really realize like what was going on. I just like had this like overwhelming like feeling and like mental state, and I just like lost my mind and I was like bawling my eyes out and I was freaking myself out. And it was only like halfway through that I realized I was like, oh, this isn't normal. Like I'm having an anxiety attack right now. And like that has happened like a couple of times this year. And I've like only just realized that that's actually been happening, which like isn't very good, but at least I know now. So I'm like, all right, like I get back into like journaling and note taking and really just like sort of reset and work myself out, because it has been a while since like I feel like that's happened. Like I think earlier in the year, like I was like pretty good and hadn't had like anything like that for several months. Can this car not drive right now? But just looking back, I am very, very grateful that like nothing has been to the extent that it was in 2021. Like I'm very, very glad for that. And I also know now that like I can make it through, and like I have like methods, I guess, in order to make myself feel better. So that's what I'm really going to be trying to focus on over the next 2 months and sort of like get myself back in order. Oh my God. But yeah, that happened. And literally like the following day, I felt fine. It was just like for like several hours or something, I was just like very, very shaken. It was not a fun time, but I am very, very glad that I have such a great, strong support system and like people who are very patient with me. Otherwise, I feel like it would be a lot worse. Speaking of routine and schedules, Ninjago J Studios is wondering what my gym routine is, and really the only reason I even included this question is because honestly, I need advice. Like the last couple of months, like I have been like so slack. Like either I've just been putting it off because I'm like, oh, I'm too busy, or I just like get caught up, and like I've just been putting it off. And like I love the gym, and like I was doing so well, and then I just like did really bad, and now I'm like disappointed with myself, and I'm like, come on, Holly, you gotta like get back in there. Like I really like, I just need to get my myself back in check. I have a lot of like gym focused and like personal goals heading into the new year. Like I really just want to get into a routine, get stronger, like tone myself up, like just really, really work on myself, work on my like cardio fitness. So I want to ask, specifically for like all of my gym bros out there, like I need upper body tips. Like I feel like I'm all right when it comes to like leg strength and like glutes. Like I've got the gym girlies for that, and I feel like I can sort of like work things out. But when it comes to upper body, I'm absolutely screwed. It is the weakest part of my body. So please like let me know like your workout splits, your like workout routines, favorite exercises, because like really I'm just like, all right, like chest press, like lat pull down, like cable row, and like a couple of like small like dumbbell bicep curls. Like I really just need advice, and I want to get this all like locked in and down before the new year, because right now I just feel like I don't have like a proper routine. Like it will be like, all right, like do like a short like power walking warm up on the treadmill, like do some hip thrusts, maybe do some like RDLs, a couple of like cable machines, like leg press, or like abductor and adductor and like cable rows and all of that. But overall it just feels really messy. So yeah, if anyone has any advice when it comes to like gym routines and splits and all of that, please let me know, because I would really like some help. Thank you. And I will keep you updated with my whole like gym progress and like training journey. So yeah, stay tuned on Instagram. Cooper asked a hilarious question, and that is for my thoughts on the Outback Steakhouse as an Australian. Now, I have eaten at the Outback Steakhouse a couple of times, but really I just wanted to highlight this question because it reminds me of this really funny experience. So in 2016, I went on this like international dance trip with my dance school at the time. So like all of my dance friends and like my dance family, as I like to call them, we all headed over to California, and we were dancing in like Disneyland parades and did like a couple of like performances at like Universal Studios and Disneyland and like the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever. And we went to the Dance Mums Abby Lee Dance Company. Like it was an overall just fantastic trip. But the funny thing was, it's like we just got off like a 14-hour flight, like couldn't check into our hotels. We just got into like the Target down the road, and after we'd like done that and got like bottled water and all of that, we were like, all right, we're hungry, let's go to the Outback Steakhouse. Like we've just flown 14 hours to the USA. Like a lot of people had like not gone before, or like hadn't been in a while as well. And it's like, yeah, the first thing we're gonna do, the first place we're gonna eat is an Australian themed restaurant. And like I just find that hilarious. But I really love like the blooming onion that they do. Like that's not an Australian thing, but it's a tasty dish. I will give it that. And also I found it funny because I think it was like one I went to in Hawaii, and they had like a map of Australia, except Tasmania was like way off to the right and had been like rotated. Which was really funny. I felt really bad for the Tasmanians at that point. But overall, it's a pretty cool restaurant. It just doesn't feel overall like that Australian. I feel like if they put fairy bread on like the dessert menu, or maybe just like cooked everything on like a barbecue, maybe, but like it's a pretty cool chain restaurant. I will give it that. Award for my favorite question this time goes to Mediocre Christ, who says, did changing your channel name have any noticeable impact on your analytics, recognizability, etc.? Were people still looking for Potter Minifig pals? Maybe they still are. Or was it a smooth switcheroo? Now, this happened over about a year ago, I think, at this point, and I distinctly remember the day that I like posted my video saying, hey, I'm changing my name, like my subscribers like gained, like graph like dropped significantly. Like there was significantly less people that it was saying like had subscribed. I don't think it ever went into the negative, but it was definitely like just a sudden drop. And I remember freaking out. I was like, oh no, what have I done? What is happening? And then I had like a couple of videos do well, and I was like, okay, maybe this like isn't really making that much of an impact. But I think for the most part, I maybe just confused people quite a lot. So I apologize for that. But like looking at it a year on, like I'm really glad I did it. I probably should have done it earlier so that I guess like it didn't make such a big of an impact like historically. But at the time I definitely freaked myself out, and for about a year now I've like kept Potter Minifig pals in like the video tag just in case someone's searching it, because for a while now it like still came up as like search terms and like that was there, but now it's always like HollyOnFilm as like one word or like with gaps in between it. So I feel like I could probably take that out of my tags now. But yeah, it would like definitely did have an impact, and it freaked me out, but it only lasted like maybe like a week or so, and then it was sort of like back to normal for the most part. And now I feel like everyone's sort of like settled down. My username is like now known, like we're all sort of moved on past that point. So I feel like we're all good. And lastly, one of my favorite / most recommended Lego sets under $50 US. There are quite a few. I mean, the first one that comes to the top of my head recently is the AAT. However, that is retiring, so I feel like I also can't recommend that. The Polyjuice Potion bathroom is a fantastic small set. If you're a big fan of Wolverine, the Wolverine mech, as much as I hate the mechs, that is a pretty good deal there. Personally, I also really liked the Republic fighter tank. Like, the build isn't fantastic, but I never had one, so I mean, it's just nice to get it in general. And I feel like the clones and Mace Windu and the battle droids, like overall, that was a really, really good deal. The Fox house from Minecraft was really cool. I haven't owned that set, but I really liked it. I can't remember how many US dollars the tiger is, but the tiger is such a good creator set. The Noodle Shop house as well. I really like the look of that set. I think that's it for the most part. And if you can get that like $30 Mando's N1 Starfighter deal from Costco, that set as well. But those are all of the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for submitting them and just for supporting me and my channel this year. I mean, it's a bit early to, I guess, to like wrap up for the year and get all soppy, but I'm gonna do that anyway. So thank you all so much for your continued support, and I'm excited for the videos, I guess, that I'm gonna be putting out in December. And also thank you so much to Manscape for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out, linked in the description below. I had a lot of fun doing that whole segment today. It was very funny. I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday season, and I hope you enjoy the rest of my 2022 content. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.